my name is Armando Franco, and I'm the team lead for the Wellness and Resiliency program. We're also affectionately known as the WAR team. Our vision is to assist in the removal of a lot of mental stigmas that surround physical and psychological illnesses. And we do that by supporting our virtual care events and our care events in person, by building the resiliency for our staff members and our warriors, by promoting this self-care, self-help, holistic form of healing through some of the programs that you spoke about, mindfulness, journaling, and the music and comedy. It's going to help them in their transformation to a better life. Our mission is to promote wellness and resiliency, and we do that for the staff members and our warriors. And we do it virtually and also in person, and it promotes high quality training that empowers them to promote that wellness and healing. With that said, do you have any questions for me, Spray?
No, I have no questions for you.
Okay.
You actually know what you're doing, and I'm going to safely step back away from my microphone and allow you to go.
Fantastic. So I'll be handing this over to my co-worker, Candace Escobedo, who's going to talk a little bit more in detail about the different programs. Take it away, Candace.
Hi, everybody. My name is Candace Escobedo, and I am also part of the Wellness and Resiliency team. And some of the things that we do, if you come to one of our personal or one of our virtual or in-person events, are things like art. We do all types of different art. We do a lot of research on it, and we find new creative ways to teach you some skills that you can use in your recovery. A lot of people like art or didn't know they like art until they tried it, and now they really like to paint or draw. We do things like spiritual wellness. We usually have a chaplain with us at each event, and he engages with the warriors and just real talk. You know, it's not preachy, it's not church, it's just real talk about real things that warriors want to talk about and discuss. We also do something that we really love, and it's called commotion dance. And so we've never done this in person yet, and we hope to bring it to an in-person event. But it is a company that teaches all abilities to dance, whether you're in a wheelchair or you can stand or you don't have a lot of movement. Everybody can participate, and it's really fun, and it's a vibrant class, and everybody has a great time. We do Tai Chi, and we do yoga, and we do mindfulness and meditation and things like that to help folks when they are feeling stressed. Gives them some tools to just use wherever they are when they need these types of things. We do improv and comedy. People love it. We can do that in a virtual environment. It's always funner in person when you get to see everybody doing it together. But again, it's so effective and so much fun doing it in the virtual. We do Right to Recovery, which I believe Spray had mentioned. Journaling. Journaling is a passion of all of ours, and we use that in almost everything that we do, and it really helps in recovery. We also do something called Zentangle, which is also an art form, but it's also part of meditation. And warriors who have never heard of it go away with loving this. And actually, from our last event, we had one warrior who became a certified Zentangle teacher because he loved it so much. And then we do music. I know Spray had talked about that. Rock to Recovery. We bring those folks in either virtual or in person, and the warriors get together, and through the journaling and through the lyrics, they pull out lyrics and create a song. And it's really interesting and it's fun to do. So if you have not come to an event before, we really recommend you coming to an event. Sign up with War Team because we have a lot of fun. So hope to see everybody soon. And now we have some testimony, and I'm going to hand it over to Kevin Kelly. And Spray, can you please let him share the screen? And he's got the video.
He should be able to share the screen now.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so
beautiful backdrop, Kevin.
Welcome, everyone. We are here with the Air Force Wounded Warrior Wellness and Resiliency team, and we have 3 of our warriors who recently went through our care event track. and we wanted to let them speak to their experience and how they felt about joining the Wellness and Resiliency team for the last care event. So Echo, over to you.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question real quick, and then if we just want to go in order that I have you guys on the screen, we can go Jason, Gary, and then Greg for your response. What made you choose the Wellness and Resiliency track for the virtual care event?
The reason I chose Wellness and Resiliency, again, I attended one in February, for me, the first virtual care event that I ever attended, and that was just a tremendous experience for me, and I was so excited that there was another one happening because I got so much out of it, even more so than the adaptive sports that I had done in person. I made connections, and that's what I was looking for again, and it just provided a different outlet and a different aspect of AFW2 that I hadn't experienced before, but for a little bit of the improv and a little bit of the rock to recovery that happened normally at the live events at the beginning of the week. But it was so fantastic to be able to have this opportunity to experience the Wellness and Resiliency for the entire week.
Thank you. Gary?
For me, it gave me a chance to still be part of the AFW. Since my injury, I could not be part of the trials. The resiliency part, I was able to still attend and go through that class. So the people who could not do the actual trials and do the athletic parts, this gives them another alternative to participate and meet people who have injuries and want to come together. So this was a great opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you, Gary. Greg?
So I went to the ambassador program back in February, and I just kind of fell in love with what the AFW2 program had to offer. And so for me, I've been working with the RAMP team a little bit, EIT, they've been helping. So it's really, honestly, this is something that I felt was the next step. And then when I got into it, I realized just how great it was. Like I realized that, no kidding, the wellness and resiliency portion of it is something that I can really internalize and then turn around and maybe help those out there that may need some of the same assistance that I have through the years. So for me, it was just a logical next step, but I got so much more out of it than just showing up to a class. It was a great turnaround, and for a week, there's so much packed into it that I walked away definitely better for going there. So it was great.
Awesome. Thank you. Candace?
So now that you guys have done it, did you like it? I mean, what was your favorite part of the event, that of all the things that we did? Jason, you first.
I believe I have to say the best part of the event was, I love the improv and the rock to recovery. Those two things really resonate with me. But most importantly, it was starting in February, I noticed it. And then I wanted to make a point of it in this April Care event, is looking at people at the beginning of the week. And I knew one person, Christian Vega, in February, but looking at the faces, I saw myself 2 years ago before I really started to get help. And I kind of really came out of my shell, and I was the one I really wanted to give and be there for others, like AFW2 and my entire support team have been for me. My wife is my caregiver, who's also involved in AFW2. But that was the best thing about this, is seeing the difference and the changes that happen in people and the connections that we make, and they continue. And the fact that you folks do this for us, it's just what can we say but thank you? But thank you doesn't even come close.
That's so sweet. Thank you for saying that. We do love doing this. I mean, this is our passion. We enjoy it every time it comes around. Gary, what did you like best about it?
The rock and recovery was great, but I like meeting everybody. For me, it's it was, there was a lot of uncertain answers in my journey to recovery, and it's the unknown. But a lot of like Jason, he's been there, seen it, done it. He has all the answers. And around here where I'm at, you can't find those people. So bringing those people that have already been there and done that has the answers, it was great. And it's given me hope and say, it's like a mentor and say, I've been there. This is what's going to happen. You're going to be okay. And we're going to take your hand and you're going to get through this. It's given me this second wind in my recovery.
That's awesome. Thanks, Gary. I appreciate that. Greg, what about you? Because I know you have gone to some of the other tracks. What did you like the best of this one?
So, coming into it, I always want to meet the people. So I think, well, what else they have to offer? Just kidding, Jason. Gary just said that you know all the answers, so I can't. That was what I was going to lead in with, but Gary put you up there, but I believe you're there as well. So, man, you've helped me a lot through this thing. But as we're going through it, I just I love the rock to recovery. That was a really cool thing, and the Zentangle. So. Even though I have a hard time sometimes concentrating because it kind of makes my memory foggy when I'm trying to concentrate because I start really zeroing in, but it really was something different. I was able to really focus in on just doing it as a process versus seeing the whole thing. And I think for me, that's something I struggle with at times is I see the big picture and I want to do everything in the big picture at once. The Zentangle for me was more like a metaphor of just follow the process, trust the process, and then something beautiful comes out of it. And I thought that was, for me, just seeing that happen, it was really cool. Actually, I'm like, hey, look, I can draw. I started showing people like, Wayne and Garth back in the day. I was like, hey, check it out. Look at my drawing. It's pretty cool. I can draw. But it was just fun. It was something, again, seeing something come together from four little dots was just ridiculous. I mean, it was great. So that was probably one of my favorite. That was the favorite part. So, and then also harassing. Right. Yeah. Also harassing Jason, he said I was going to say yoga, but Jason said I looked like George Costanza when I was laying on my back. So that really hurt my feelings a little bit. So, but I still love you, brother. Honestly, that kind of relationship come out of it after a week. I got a new guy I can harass and he's free to do the same. And we go back and forth. So that's what's so much fun. I love meeting people and folks that, don't think so much themselves that they can't, live a little and have fun.
Thanks, Greg. I appreciate that. Echo, over to you.
So you guys all mentioned connection as being a huge part of what brought this track and make it successful. But what other tools or skills did you learn this week or that during the CARE event that you might be able to take and use in your everyday life or in your recovery?
Well, I'd have to say the biggest tool, biggest thing I've gotten out of AFW2, and I got to go back to the beginning at my first event that I didn't even want to get on the plane to come to, and in fact, almost didn't. Some people know the Rob Hufford story. When I checked into the airport, I'll save that for a later time. But I believe the biggest takeaway and the biggest thing about AFW2, and especially with the war track, is that it allows people like me, like you, like us, all of us, because we are now a family. And that's the great thing about it. It's implicit trust. It's unconditional trust. And the thing about it is that it's a safe place that I learned to trust again, to start to learn to trust again. It didn't happen overnight, and it didn't happen right after the first event, but you make yourself a little bit vulnerable. You're allowing yourself to fall backwards and knowing that there's going to be somebody there to catch you. And it's just each event and just the connections that I made and the contacts that I maintain, even outside of CARE events, that has been the most incredible thing, not only with AFW2, but war in particular, just that the ability to be vulnerable and be safe, feel safe, not judged, and to be able to trust again, to start to trust again. And that's hugely important as we heal.
Definitely. That's beautiful. Thank you. Gary?
I think Jason, it kind of said what I was going to say. It's to believe in myself again. And it's just to go out and to just not to worry about what people think about myself the way I am, and going to this program and being accepted by everybody has built the confidence in who I am again. Because after what happened to me, is I was worried about just everybody, what they thought about me and everything else. But you guys have given me the courage and the confidence to go out and not worry about that anymore.
You're a beautiful person, Gary. Thank you. Greg, over to you.
So Gary, you just rocked it, man. That was awesome. So, the saying that I kept hearing, before was, it's okay to not be okay, and I'm going to say the air quotes, right? Because we're all just people and we're all kind of struggle with our own battles. And when I was going through the Wellness and Resiliency program, you just realize you're around people that are like you are, are people that struggle with something, that don't put up the facade of being I'm perfect and hey, nothing's really going wrong, but it's real. And so what I realized was that as I go through, there's a team that's always got my back, and I've had a strong family. I've got friends that rallied around me, and my family has taken care of me. But when you're around people that have literally been through the exact same things you've been through, chewed the same dirt you have, and kind of lived through the same corporate structure and thing that you have, it's just different. And I think, sitting in here, it's okay to not be okay. And again, I use the air quotes because we are okay. And sometimes we have to be willing to accept that on our own instead of looking at what other people think. So that's what I think I took away, is just another affirmation that, you know what, I'm going to be okay. Everything's cool. And I got a bunch of buddies, a bunch of family members that are going to take care of me even when I'm not doing so good at taking care of myself. So that's pretty cool.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Candace?
Well, my next question, but you guys really have talked about it throughout this whole time, was, did you feel that you made connections during this care event? Which clearly you did, because you guys are still in contact with each other. So how are you going to continue the connections? We'll say it that way. Jason.
I believe the best way to continue the connections and continue to have this process move forward is, and I'm thinking of a person in particular, but I won't mention the name, but empowering them. This person talks about how much I did for them. And I try to say back, and you don't get it. This is a two-way street. You're also doing for me. And I'm a big quote guy. And one of my favorite quotes is, sometimes the best way to help yourself is to put your arm around somebody who needs it more. And
Absolutely.
And those connections, that's what it's about. I want to get to that point where I can talk to this person, just pick up the phone and say, hey, how's it going? How's the new job? What's going on? What are you doing to help other people? What are you doing to help other AFW2 family members? And, that would be my greatest gift to see move forward. It's just that it continues, and, it just dominoes the whole way down. And that would just be fantastic. It's happened that way for me. So I want to see it continue.
Good. Thank you. Gary, how will you keep connected with the group?
It just, hopefully, like you said, it just reaching out, continuing with the whole AFW2, and hopefully everybody continues with the program, and hopefully we can get back on track and doing in person and going there. But on the side, like Jason says, just picking up the phone or email, and how you're doing, away from the AFW2, and just what's going on, how how's your recovery doing, and just going from there.
Awesome. Are all you guys on the Facebook page? Because that's another way to connect as well.
Yep.
Greg?
I'm there.
You want to talk a little bit, Greg, about how you had mentioned about doing the social hour to keep everyone connected in the group?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we had talked about so hopefully I can say this, but I've got an organization and the tagline is we exist to connect, support, and sustain one another in love. And that's what I see. That's why I keep coming back to AFW2, because they just show tons of love. And so the social hour is just going to be a thing on every Tuesday at 2:00 Texas time, right? I have to say that. So Central time, where we all kind of get together. Is it 2:00? We had talked. I want to make sure I got that right. Is that right,
I
Jennifer?
don't remember, but it could be. We're setting it up, so it's going to be however we want to do it.
Okay, so this will be the part that gets edited out because I don't remember what we talked about. So, but anyway, it'll just be so we all can connect. And then what I would love to see is that some of the things that, in conjunction with some other organizations that are around the country and there in Texas, is to see you guys at the events that I'm doing. And heck, maybe we'll even do one where we rally all up from this cohort. So I just think that it's, staying connected is something that really does mean a lot. And when someone reaches out to you, I've been in some pretty bad situations. And when folks reached out the hand and said, hey, man, I'm here for you. And when people are doing like, yeah, I'm here if you need anything. A lot of people type that, but a lot of people don't mean it. Or they do mean it with the best intentions, and it's just life happens, right? So I don't ever discount when people say that. It's just, things happen. But with this organization, there's so many people that I've been connected with. So I think just keep this core group together that went through this and even more, and keep growing it. I think it's a fantastic idea. And I think it was you that mentioned it to me. So I don't want to take credit for all that stuff, or that may have been something I wasn't supposed to say either, but we both were kind of talking about it. I'm kidding, I'm messing around, but it's just something I think we can continue to make friends and help grow, and then grow the FW2 name, see what we're doing, other people see what we're doing. And it basically, the advertisements in itself, and then through just people wanting to be there, they can just learn. And I think this is the way to do it. So I'm all open to it. I can't wait to sit down and see you guys face every week. Jason, you can come every other week. But other than that, I think I'm just playing. We'll be good to go.
Thanks, Greg. All right, Echo, over to you.
So if there was another warrior that was interested in the war track or kind of on the fence, what would your advice be to them about joining the war track?
That's pretty simple for me to answer. I had done adaptive sports in person, and I know trials are a big deal and going to the games are a big deal, but looking at the war track versus adaptive sports, I look at it from the perspective of, and before I can really step out there and do something for others, I got to be right with myself. And to me, medals, competing, I'm not there. I want to do it and I will eventually do it, but it's about getting myself right first. And the way to do that is through events like this. I'm frankly so happy that this event, WAR, is now part of the AFW2 track, because I didn't want to keep going back to adaptive sports. It wasn't because of the people. It was great, but I had greater goals. And the goals were helping myself so that I can help others. And that continues to be my goal. And AFW2, in a word, has given me hope.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Gary?
That's the first time I have not done the competitive side, but for somebody who does not want to compete, the resiliency side, who just wants to go out and meet people who have same issues or problems, and wants to build friendships and learn about themselves. This track was fantastic. I mean, this is the best program that I've ever attended.
Oh, those are beautiful words. Thank you so much. Greg?
So I would say do it, simply put, is that, you come into this thing, and what this week is, there's some things that I absolutely love. There's other things I learned from. And then there's other things that, that kind of taught me, okay, this is something that works good virtually. This is some stuff that works good face-to-face. But through the whole thing, I was just absorbing it all. And so when you're going through programs like this, people sometimes get frustrated and say, well, that's terrible. But then they're focused on that one thing. that they didn't like. Well, this program was great because through the whole thing, there was the love and the kindness that was there. So I would say do it, because the hardest part, honestly, is once you show up, you're going to like it. If you have to dial in or you're going to attend in person, once you get there, you're going to like it. The hardest part is convincing this part of your body that, hey, this is where I need to be. And so I would highly suggest just give it a try. And nobody says you really can, just give it a try. It may not be for you, but I think it will be. You got to get through that mindset, work on this part. And once you get in there, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with what you can learn. I know I did.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Greg. Does anybody have any kind of closing words for us before we go? Jason?
Yes, and quick on what Greg said. I absolutely wholeheartedly believe in what you just said. So spot on, Greg. Excellent words. And the one final thing I wanted to say is part of the war track is something called My Intent. And it's a little bracelet, little project that you do. And we talk a lot about resiliency. And I learned this from Armando. The definition of resiliency, as we've always known it, is resiliency is bouncing back. And Armando made the point in February to say, I don't think about resiliency that way. I think about resiliency as bouncing forward. And that's why my word, it was sustain, but I changed it to bounce. And that's always my reminder to be resilient, but I'm not bouncing back. I'm learning from what happened and I'm moving forward. I'm bouncing forward. And see, that's just a small part. That was 10 minutes worth of AFW2 and talking to Armando. That was a huge lesson for me. And part of now what I can use to help heal and recover. And sometimes it does take the heart longer to accept what the mind already knows, going to what Greg said, but AFW2 makes that connection get smaller. It gets closer and closer. Instead of doing it alone, we're doing it together. And that'll close that gap where the heart and the mind can meet and be as one, because that's what we all want. We want to be happy and we want to see each other happy and live great lives.
Yes. Long, healthy, great lives. Yes. Anybody else?
So, for me, Mike Tyson said a phrase one time and said, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth or punched in the face. Right. And, I think I got the full combination at some point, and some of us get that, but it's how do you come back? Well, sometimes you need to reach out and say, I need to learn more. I need some assistance, or maybe I just need a friend. I just need someone to check on me. And I think through a lot of this stuff that I've gone through this week, the people, just like Jason said, and Gary, great group of people. And so when you get punched in the face, sometimes you want to work to your own devices. And I tried that. I tried to, no, I'm just going to deal with it. I'm just going to figure this out on my own. And as soon as I humbled myself and said, you know what, other people are more skilled at this. People have other experiences, and maybe I should just start listening. Try to quit being a Superman, and saying, I'm a chief. I can do this. I don't want to ask. People think less of me. You know what? The minute my life started changing, when I said something has to change, and I asked for help, and that's the best advice I can give. Just ask. If you don't know, ask. There's so many people out there that want to help. And if you don't reach out, they're still probably going to reach to you, but you got to be ready and you got to do your thing. And once I got ready, once I was ready to reach out, man, the help is there. And people are so loving and so willing. And I just, for that stuff, I can't ever be thankful enough. I love it. So thank you guys. Love you guys. And it's been an amazing ride. It just has. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Candace?
Well, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and do this. And we look forward to seeing you in future care events, most definitely in person, but even virtual. And that's another great thing too. If someone can't make it for whatever reason, you can still show up through virtual. So thank you all so much for joining us. Stand by, a little bit of technical difficulties, but I promise it's fun. Hold on.
And as a reminder, while we're waiting for the video to come up, don't forget that you can look up AFW2 on social media. Go to Facebook at Air Force Wounded Warrior.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining our open house. That was, I thought, a great video. I'm sitting here with goosebumps on my arms. My name is Jennifer Houghton, and I have with me today Echo Best.
Hello, everybody.
And we're just here to give a shameless plug for our Facebook page. So COVID shut us down and forced us into a virtual environment. So we began staying connected with warriors via social media. Our Facebook page, you got paper and pen, is AFW2 Wellness and Resiliency. And that is where we go to post content in keeping with monthly themes. For example, our theme this month is emotions. So some of our content posted makes you really think and helps process going through those emotions. And there's also various journaling prompts that Armando will post to help guide you if you're trying to journal and sometimes get stuck. And then we also have fun posts, silly questions, and memes. So if you haven't yet, join our Facebook page today.
Go War Team.
Woo, woo.
As you heard the war team, as you saw the testimonies and you heard various of our warriors say different things and you saw the video, the war team is an essential part of this huge program and this amazing program. You know, we take great pride in researching and also using our warriors and our staff members to give something back. And you saw their testimonies there. We constantly strive and we constantly work hard within the four of us, and sometimes even the five of us, Kevin Calley, who's an essential part of the Air Force Wounded Warrior team, to continue to care beyond duty. It's a tireless task. We work very hard. We never say no. And we're here to help any warrior, anytime, any place, anywhere. With that said, if you have questions of me, please, or the team, just please go ahead and put them in there, or you could also email us for the questions and post them on Facebook or whatnot. With that said, Spray, we're going to hand it back over to you. We're pretty much wrapped up. If you have any questions for us, we're here to answer them.